Welcome back. This little how-to is going to explain a little bit about mesh insert and Dynamesh. Okay, and we're going to use this technique. I'm going to show you this technique for those instances where you want to just add parts to a model that you're working on. If you have a finished hand lying around that you want to put onto a full figure sculpt, for example, or something else that you've worked up that you don't want to redo. And it's quite useful for that, but the only constraint is that you have to be working in Dynamesh to get this to work effectively in the workflow. But to just explain how it works, we're going to take an arm like this if you have it lying around, and also a hand that we've worked on if you have that lying around. And pretty much we're just going to weld this onto the arm. Okay, so we're going to use this with Dynamesh, like I said, and a brush in here called Insert, kind of one of the insert brushes. So we'll duplicate the insert cube and switch the mesh that we're inserting. Okay, and for those not familiar with this stuff, you have a library of things that are kind of default in ZBrush that you can slap on your model. But typically we want to do our own custom things, so I'll show you how to edit this brush and insert what you want. Okay, the first thing is that we're going to take this mesh, and I want to pretty much, let me just get rid of this guy. So here's the unstumped version, and I'm actually going to stump this again for you guys. I want to just have a copy of this lying around, so I'm going to take this and I'm going to rename him Duplicate, if I could spell duplicates, and go back to the original. And that is just to have a version of this at full resolution that we could later use for ZProject or project all details with this project all in the instance that we lose resolution Dynameshing, because sometimes it can be a lossy process. Okay, so with that kind of duplicated, we're going to go into Dynamesh, right? So just open up your geometry palette, and if we try to Dynamesh first, it's going to give us all sorts of warnings about all this stuff. And it's going to say layers and subdivision. So we know that we just need to bake all this and delete lower as well. So just kind of give Dynamesh raw geometry to work with. And then if we Dynamesh, the button was on by default, but it shouldn't be on. That just kind of, it forgets when you hit that. So resolution 128, if I hit Dynamesh, you'll see that it's a little bit of a lossy process at this resolution. But we have maybe enough to work with. I'm going to put it up a little bit. I'm going to put it up to 256, and that should be enough resolution for me. I'll lose a little bit, but again, I have details in my stored copy if I want to get them back later. Okay, so this is a good fairly lightweight, and it should be easy to work with. Okay, and now let's just cut off the hand because we want to get rid of this guy. So hold down Control-Shift. You get select rectangle, but we want to switch this to slice curve. And we've done this before, so this shouldn't be a surprise to anybody. I'm going to cut him off right about here. Okay, nothing appears to have happened, but if I turn on polyframe and zoom in, you can see where the cut happens. And then, as we get ready to Dynamesh this, to kind of get rid of the stump, I'm just going to hit Group. Okay, and then Remesh. And you'll see actually I ended up doing what I've showed you guys to avoid, and I've cut through my entire model. So let's just undo, and we'll go back and we'll do our slice curve, but we'll put additional points in, right, to kind of stop this from going everywhere. So 2 clicks of Alt as I'm going, and that should kind of keep this from propagating all the way down here. Okay, Group, and then Control Drag for Remesh. And there we go. You can see that this is now a separate piece. And if I do Control-Shift-Click, it hides it. There's our stump. And I can hit Delete Hidden. And it will get rid of it. So now there's our wrist stump. And now let's just look at the hand stump that we're going to put on. And he's got a little bit extra wrist. If I just flip back and forth between these two, it'll probably be okay as is. Okay, so let's get our mesh insert brush ready and configure it with the hand. Okay, so I'm gonna roll this up, and I'm gonna dock my brush menu for the time being. Okay, so this is the brush menu. I just grabbed it from over there, and I'm gonna get something like, I guess we could use the insert ear, but typically I'll just grab like insert cube, hit clone, and now we have insert cube 1. And really, if we go down here to modifiers in the brush palette, you can see the mesh insert preview. And right now it has a cube, which is not a surprise. If you click on this preview, it pulls out your tool window, and you want to just grab the hand stump, which should be in your top row. And again, this is often a problem when you're trying to do mesh insert or work with Dynamesh multiple subdivision levels. So we're just going to have to go into our hand and kill that. Okay, so let's just quickly switch over the tool menu, and I'll just go layers, bake all, and delete lower. Okay, so that should be okay now for mesh insert. So just pull this guy out again and do the same thing, and you can see now we have a hand for this brush. So insert cube is no longer insert cube, it's the hand. So let's go, I'll just close this, and we'll come back to him later, and I'm just going to switch back over to the hand. Okay, so here we go. This is the arm, and here we go. Our insert hand brush is still active. That's the one we were just working on. And now a single drag on the canvas will make the hand. Now just a single directional drag, no funny business. We'll drop it as a separate poly group. If you start, I haven't released my tablet yet, because if you do a drag and any kind of extra stuff, let me just undo that. You can get some funny things happening on your hand, like that, right? So it starts to distort it in different directions, in different angles. It's meant to give you the flexibility when creating a cube to make it rectangular, a circle to an ellipse or something. So, but it's not helpful when we have a hand. So let's just do a single drag. I'm undoing this. We're going to do a single drag till it's roughly the right scale. Don't worry about the orientation. We're going to do all this with transpose. Okay, and now we just need to get in here and not with move, but with rotate. Do all our transpose magic to get this guy back to the orientation and scale that he needs to be to merge him down. Right, so I'm just putting bones in different places to rotate. I'm going to put this one on axis to spin my wrist, and I'll grab the white one in the center to kind of rotate on axis and try to get this kind of going in the right direction. If I grab the bottom one, it's going to rotate about the top circle, and kind of swing the wrist over. Move, grab in the middle, and I'll just move this like so. Move it back, and probably going to have to move it down. Looking at it, we're getting close, but probably anybody with any kind of acute vision will say is probably too big. So let's just scale him down a bit. Fine tune as much as you need to. I'm going to drop this guy pretty soon, and he'll be probably down here a little bit more. And you see we have quite a bit of overlap between our two meshes, and that's okay. We're going to have to do a little tidying up, a little cleaning at the end to make sure that these mate in a good, in a nice clean manner. Okay, broadly, I'm going to look at the head of the ulna here as kind of my landmark and use that to adjust everything from here. But really, this is not going to be, not going to spend the time to make this perfect. I just want to give you guys the idea of the workflow. Okay, so really, that's going to be about it for now. Let me zoom out and make sure we're not looking ridiculous. And it's probably not too ridiculous, maybe a little bit long still. So we're going to go like that, and this is where I'm going to leave it. From here, you can see what we have is we have pretty much a masked arm. So when you do the mesh insert, it masks your main mesh, and your inserted mesh is unmasked and active, which is why we're able to transpose it. But also it comes in as a separate poly group. Okay, I don't have poly group coloration on, but you can see if I turn it on, that will have kind of two different colors, right? One is purple and one is red. And get rid of all that. So really what we can do is we can do a little work on this to make it match a little bit better now. So I'm going to get rid of my mesh insert brush, and I'm going to go with something like move. And I'm just going to do a little bit of tweaking on the size down here. Essentially, I'm going to push it inside the other mesh. So I'll let the arm mesh dictate how things should look going up to the hand. And let me just pop this out, try to get the surfaces to match a little better. So I'm using the move brush with Alt pressed to move perpendicular to the surface. I don't care about that. I'm going to push it in. And things aren't going to be perfect at the start, but we'll have to do a little bit of tidying as we remesh this. Okay, so now here's the magic. Go back down to Dynamesh. If we turn group, if we Dynamesh with groups on, it will remesh each of these individually. As we know, if we turn group off, it will merge everything together, and that's what we want. So merge everything together. You can see that we're seamless now. A little smooth will show that we're one surface. And now it's kind of at the point where you go back in and you start to refine the things that you've lost or the things that you want to make a little bit better. Okay, so get our tendons going to the right place, get our landmarks popping up in the right place because they've kind of gone a little bit awry. Tendons going across the borders and the boundaries, and that sort of thing. Right, so really that is the exercise and the little bit of lesson. So we can use this again at different points in our full figure sculpts if we're ever to the point where we're just like, my topology is not working, I want to put a different hand in that I've sculpted, and mesh insert can do that for us. Okay, hope this is a little bit instructive. It's not difficult, but it could be useful in the future. Thanks.